Back to what are you doing? Go back there, Daddy. I'm not joking with you. Welcome back to the show. I swear, this working from home thing, it's good, but then also it's a lot of work. It's the first time I've never had to balance between motherhood and working, which is fantastic. But then also, if you have a child who just... Anyway, hashtag TTTT at the Trend Live is our social media handle. So please do get us on that as you send in your opinions about every story that we have talked about. As you talk about the next one now, President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday lifted the Kenya entertainment spirits very high with a directive to the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage to set aside 100 million so that, artists can be cushioned, because entertainment, entertainment right now is at complete stop. I mean, there are no events that are taking place, meaning there are no MCs who are working, meaning that there's no one setting up the sound, meaning there's no one, catering for the food. So there's a lot of different things that, this is a very big problem right now. So what do you guys think? Butita, as an entertainer yourself, as a comedian, I know it's been a bit tough for you, but what are your thoughts on the 100 million?
How tough? Yes, it has been tough. Wacha tu ni accept. Mimi nakula kwanza pande ya comedy na muziki. Si unajua nakwaga na muziki. So, nakula pande zote.
That one song of yours that flopped like that, Butita?
It did flop. See, we watched it and now like you subscribe.
Can we discuss what you received from was it MCSK?
Okay, it was 18 bob, but it is money. It was 18 bob, but it is money. You see what I was saying, Amina? Niliona kwa mtandao. Niliona kwa mtandao. Ni kama sikuoni poa.
Mimi nakuona poa.
Niliona kwa internet wase wana nini, wase wanazusha wasanii wasipewe pesa. Nikasema that's not human. Like we are people like any other. We are suffering just like many industries are suffering because events were cancelled and huko tunatoaga msosi. Sasa it was just a good opportunity.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Butita. Yes, it is true. There's so many people who I understand are facing eviction because they cannot, pay their rent. People are also struggling to put food on their table, and these are specific to entertainers. But do you understand the argument of the medical practitioner saying that maybe this money could be directed to something else that would, that's needed right now? That's how they felt. Do you see that? Do you see any valid argument there?
Okay. Amina. Kugete buki dogo.
All right, so Butita. Okay, great. So as Butita sorts himself out, Anita.
Yes.
I mean,
first of all, I want to know whether I fall under that category.
Stuff.
I am very curious because am I an actress, an entertainer? Because we know I'm not a musician. Lord knows that can't save me in any way. But this is my take, and I know I'm going to get flack for this. I think the most essential place where money should be going to right now is our healthcare. Because realistically speaking, if this blows out of proportion, our hospitals will be overrun, and I know we will not have enough equipment, and we cannot consistently keep hoping and wishing for donors and hoping that somebody else is going to come and save us, right? However, I do think after healthcare, like I said before, the government needs to figure out how everyone who has been affected by the coronavirus and is being forced to stay at home and they make money leaving their homes on a daily basis, how they're going to survive. Even the bare minimum, even if it's not that, if they're going to speak to landlords, to KPLC, to the water, you can imagine you've paid your rent and then they cut out your steamer and water and then you're stuck at home. Just as in, I feel like they need to sit down and have an entire strategy of how the country is going to survive for the next 2 months, worst case scenario 3 months, and then now, but that way nobody feels like, so you want guys to stay at home and be entertained while we are on the front line taking care of all these people and we don't have equipment, or you have other people having to sneak into the city to make money because they're service staff. I mean, I feel like there needs to be a completely different plan as to where money should be allocated. In terms of importance and necessity.
Yes. All right. Now, Butita, I feel like this literally falls... Your docket, if I could say.
In January, President alichange system ya kucollect royalties countrywide. Vile hii kitu imekuwa inafanywa, ikakuwa gava itakuwa inachukuanga pesa sasa alafu zinakuwa reimbursed kwa artists. currently watu wanalipianga hizi pesa mnaona wasanii wanapewa ni zingine ni royalty tu zao. Hizi ndo zimekuwa zina collectiwa huku kwa places muziki zilikuwa zinachezwa wapi. Na alisema vizuri, ukiangalia hiyo document vizuri inasema sasa hii wamemanage kila month wana collect watakuwa wanapatiana 200 million kwenda kwa art kulingana na zile ndo zimecollectiwa huko nje. Alafu ndio an extra 100 million because of what has been happening. So tusiangaliange tu ati once okay pesa ishapatiwa tushapiga kelele. Sasa tuangaliange pia hizo yes their health iko. Sasa hii tunafaa kuallocate their health na ni kitu priority. Si ati sio priority, priority. But haimaanishi ati hakuna pesa nyingine. Kila sector, hizo sector zote zinaumia. Pesa yake inaweza patikana. Hiyo ndio kitu.
But that's what I've said, Butita. I've said they just need to make sure every single sector is taken care of.
It's not like ati wasanii wakikubaliwa 100M wana sabotage the health industry. No, it's not like that. Ni sawa.
Butita.
Anyway,
okay, great. Well, yes.
Hii pesa hata naitetea hivyo na tuko wasanii 2 million. Tuko wasanii 2 million. Najua ndapata 50 bob yangu but ni sawa.
Okay, fine. All right. Yeah. Anyway, now listen. Now this is so funny. Have you watched Money Heist? First of all, right now during this whole quarantine period, I bet we have caught up on a lot of films, movies, CDs, You need to watch Money Heist because Kenyans have more brains than the professor. Okay. Now imagine this: you want to get to a party. There's a lockdown. This lockdown is because we need to save your life and the lives of others. But no. We need to get to this party. My life depends on this party. First of all, literally, so that you don't go. But it's okay. You just decide to use an ambulance as a getaway car to this party. Anita, did you see this story? It was, unajua life ya YOLO. Since I think ni Milani imefungwa.
Ambulance.
What? Na ambulance.
Kesho niamuke na mababulas. Taka nilewe nite ambulance. Wajua sasa pia walikuwa roju sana. Sasa walikuwa na nimekuwa naona hata mali neighborhood yangu niliona kuna wase waliamua tu kuweka bash at a time like this. Nikajiuliza watu wana manageaje kumove usiku? Wase kaeni home manze. Sasa ikishafika hapo kwa ambulance sasa na inakaa last week kuna mse pia alikuwa ameiba ambulance. Ameiba ambulance Eldoret, mnakumbuka? Ilikuwa Eldoret hapo wapi? So inaka ni problem. Inaka ni problem tunasuffer za kati.
Labda alianzisha service ya kahaya, so like watu wanachukua hizo ambulance wakijisikia. I don't know why they would do that. It's ridiculous. But there is such a thing. I don't know if any one of you have done this yet, but there's such a thing as quarantine shaming, where you have to, because your life as well is, in danger, and your children and your family, so you have to, when people are throwing parties, even me, my neighbor, there was a time, but it was just when it started, decided to have a few people together, and I remember feeling, guy, those are many people, but it was just at the beginning, right? So we were not as panicked as we are now. So I think you should report these people. Chris Kirwa was talking about this earlier on his page, saying that people are just doing parties. People are, this weekend, there's so many parties that are being organized. Just make sure that you order from EABL. We'll talk about it more at 10 p.m. However, stay at home. Anita, are there parties that are happening in your area?
There's parties happening in my area. There's parties I've been invited for in my area. There's parties I've been invited for elsewhere. But to get me out of this household, I don't know what it is. Like literally, unless I'm going to the grocery store or when I'm making hospital runs, I have absolutely no other reason I would ever say yes to leaving this household. But then again, I'm a very paranoid human being. Plus I have asthma, so I'm just not even remotely trying to just risk my life for a good time. But then I don't judge the ones who choose to, because you don't know what vetting they're doing. Maybe that household already has 20 people who've been quarantined for the last 2 weeks. So they know they're fine. So they're having their party. And there's people who they know they've been self-quarantining. So by the time they're meeting, they know that they're all safe and they choose to have their parties. That's great. So all I'm going to say is just stay safe. Just make sure that you're all taking the necessary precautions, because it is never that serious. The dunda cannot be the reason why you're 6 feet under. So just, and you don't want to endanger other people in the event that you catch it from someone else.
some
So
parties,
if you're being careful
Yeah,
about
so-
it, more power to you. Or we meet on House Party the application.
actually naelewa vile ni
Alright.
painful
Well,
sana kupostpone vitu kama
Butita,
baby
real
shower,
quick before we take
lakini
a break, go on.
ni painful sana kupostpone vitu kama baby shower nini, lakini itabaki tu mmezisongesha tumalizane na hii kitu hiko. So kama yako imesongeshwa, unaweza pata mimba ingine next year, at least unaweza make up
Guy.
for.
To celebrate next year, Butita, you're a fool. We're going to take a break. When we get back, see, last week Esther Pasari had her picture on sanitary pads, and this week we understand the governor of Nyeri has his picture on sanitizers. I cannot deal. We'll get back. We'll talk more about that. You're watching The Trend.